Hey guys, today we're going to be going through the sort of dynamic movement routine I use on my rest days from running. I'm currently training for my first mountain ultra marathon and my last long run was 27 miles in the hills, so my legs are feeling a bit beaten up, so it's pretty selfish that I'm filming this today. I want my legs to feel looser, but I really hope it helps you too. If you're a runner, if you're a cyclist, if you're a weightlifter, this can help unstick the tightness that those sports can bring. By the end of the session, I hope your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips are feeling much looser and more alive, but at the same time, we're going to be waking up the spine and the core as well. Number one rule, nothing should hurt, so only go to a level that feels right for you. And I'm going to film today as a follow along, so you can follow along the whole routine, set your device up and have some floor space so you can follow with me. But I'll put timestamps in if you just want to steal some exercises to do in your own rest days as well. So let's get into it. And we're going to start sitting down. So start in what we call the 90-90. This shin is parallel to this thigh, and I'm going to have my hands behind me and just roll from one 90-90 to the other. I want you to be mindful here where we're just feeling what is needed in our joints. Are you feeling any catching points, any sticking points? How do your knees feel when you get, how does the inside knee feel, for example, on this back leg? How do the hips feel? And just start to notice your body through these movements. When you feel like you're loosening up, you can just sit a little bit more upright. And then we're going to land in this 90-90, but hinge over the front leg. So we're exaggerating this front hip external rotation. And you should feel a light glute stretch as you lean forwards. I'm not slouching in my back. I'm actually trying to keep that lower back relatively straight, which helps exaggerate and pull through into that front hip and the glute, the piriformis muscle. Often people ask me in the comments how many reps and sets should they do of a particular exercise, and honestly I actually never really think about that when I'm training. I kind of think more about what do I feel like. And if you're paying attention, your body will tell you when it's time to move on. So we're going to keep doing this movement, but while we've been focusing on this front leg, external rotation, we're now going to bring in back leg internal rotation by lifting this foot off the floor into the air. And we'll hold each rep for a few seconds at the top, activating all these deep hip rotators. Nice, and now when we roll one side, you can just tuck this front foot back slightly and then sit up. Use your hands to push up if you need to, but we're trying, if you can, to use your hip muscles to drive you up into this position here, whatever it's called. When you're up, we'll hang out for a few seconds, just a little wriggle, little squeeze of the glutes. Okay, 90-90, but now take that back leg back behind you, and we're just going to drop down into a pigeon pose. Bring that leg back, 90-90, switch sides, take that back leg out, back behind you. Little wriggle in each pigeon pose, just finding what your hip needs. Wriggle that back leg round, find what the hip wants with movement. There's no right answer here. Your hip will want something different to what my hip wants. Okay, now we're going to roll to the other side, but take that front foot up out in front of us, so we're in this low lunge position. Both of my hands here are inside my foot. I haven't got one hand outside, both hands are inside the foot. I'm going to think about dropping my hips down, pulling that front knee forwards, pushing the back heel backwards. We're just getting this opening through the hips. If you're doing it right, you should feel slightly different stretches in both hips. Both hips are working here and opening. Squeeze the glutes. And then if you want to, you can curl the back toe under, lift this knee off the floor and just hold position here. Squeeze this back knee up to the sky. And then rest down. Bring your feet both facing the same direction forwards, and we're just going to stay nice and low. I'm using my hands for balance here, but if you do want to, you can go no hands and just stay nice and low to transition to the other side. Hang out in this adductor stretch just for a second. And then we're going to turn our feet in the direction of our bent knee. Hands come inside that front foot. And gently wriggle around. I'm going to start with the back knee on the floor. Dropping the hips down to the floor. Front knee being drawn forwards. Back foot squeezing back. It's quite an active position once you've got all these things going on. The front knee, the back foot, the hips to the floor, squeezing the glutes. You're not just passively resting here, you're squeezing into this deep hip stretch. And if you want to add more load, you can curl your toes under at the back and just support your weight through your hip muscles. Squeeze that back knee, pump that back knee up to the sky. And then feet facing forwards again, and we'll just use our hands to do a few reps, sliding and gliding side to side. I think of this like flossing my adductors and some of the deep hip connective tissues. I often get the odd little knee click as well, so I'm moving relatively slowly so I can guide my knees into the right position, because with lots of running, they can just feel a bit tight and tender sometimes. This is good. Right, rest in the middle. I'm going to go side ons. You don't need to, but I just want to show you what I'm doing in my ankle. I'm just going to bring one foot forwards, do whatever you need to do with the back leg, and I'm just going to grind down, trying to keep my heel on the floor for as long as possible while I push the knee forwards over the toes, feeling a nice Achilles stretch here. Little circle. I'm active with this hand on my knee, pushing down towards my foot. I'm actually pushing the vector of forces down the length of my shin bone, my tibia, and that's driving a nice stretch straight down into the ankle. And then we're still going to work this leg, but step through with the other foot. So still watching this back leg here now, and I'm just going to work my toe joints, dropping the knee. So I'm dropping my knee, this left knee here, down to 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Just working those 3 clock points. Just getting slightly different angles into my toes. Toe awareness and flexibility is really important for runners. We get so much power from a good toe off in our running gait. Great. And then we'll switch sides. So we're just going to work this front ankle, driving force down through the shin into the ankle joint, getting a nice Achilles tendon stretch, helping this ankle dorsiflexion, little circles. And then step through with the other foot and scrunch into those toes, driving the knee to 11, 12 and 1 o'clock. Cool. And slowly sit yourself back down. And whew, it's a hot one today. God blimey, I'm sweating down my nose. So have a little wriggle. Breathe, let your belly relax. So I hope that makes your legs feel lighter and looser and alive. I really hope it helped. If you want another follow along routine that really gets into the hip flexors, I'll leave that up here. And until next time, have a healthy and happy week.